This week on The Circuit, the movies have shown us all kinds of future cities. Cities on wheels, perpetually dark cities, even a city that covers an entire planet. According to the UN, an estimated 2.5 billion additional people will be living in cities or other urban core centers by the year 2050. And the American Society of Civil Engineers wants to be co-authors of that future.
We tried to picture all the great things that can be done in the future built environment if we do it right.
Jerry Buckwalter started the Future World Vision Project, which includes the new IMAX movie Cities of the Future, which debuts this week at the ASCE 2023 convention in Chicago before its theatrical release in February of 2024. In the 2-hour film, we get to follow a civil engineer right here in Los Angeles all the way to Amsterdam and Singapore to look at the futuristic buildings engineered around the world. Megacity is the first of the 5 cities they built for the film, showing how civil engineers can lead the future's infrastructure ideas based on real engineering data and principles. So picturing what a location with 50 million people could look like in the year 2070.
Catching drone rides from the rooftop to the metro station. New hyper-localized markets, and our homes and workspaces know our lighting, temperature, and musical preferences. A 2-dimensional map of Megacity would only give you a small glimpse of what's really going on here.
They built multiple virtual reality simulations, including a desktop application you can download and contribute to the Megacity design. But where there's major metropolitan areas, there's also small towns, some in the middle of nowhere. Think of areas like the Midwest or the Global South that are plagued by droughts, heat waves, and harsh climates. The design looks at ag communities and how civil engineers can help these areas keep their important role as producers. The first cargo container ship actually passed through the Arctic in 2018. So what would civilization look like once the ice caps melt and the northern sea route becomes the new norm? For ASCE, that's the frozen city.
Global economy will drive ships to reroute through the Arctic. When that happens, it will need infrastructure.
There'll be communities, there'll be a whole supply chain of supporting services, and hence there will be cities that arise on the permafrost. As our polar ice caps continue to melt, our sea levels continue to rise, and according to NOAA, the US coastline is expected to see up to a foot of that water rise by 2050. All coastal cities will ultimately have 3 choices.
They will have to figure out how to embrace the water, not just protect themselves. Seawalls will simply become a thing of the past. Then you'll have some people who will retreat. They will move inland. And we believe a third option is you'll actually offshore parts of the city, and that will lead to total floating cities over time.
We first told you about the Artemis program a few episodes back, where NASA is scheduled to have people living on the moon by the year 2026. The off-planet city is currently inspired from NASA's Moon to Mars vision.
Originally, we were thinking we'd do it about Mars, but I'm pretty sure we're now going to do it about the moon, where we will actually use NASA's community plans for real in our off-planet city. Engineers have all the tools they need to solve the problems. This is about stopping for a moment, pausing, and thinking very provocatively about what might be different. And what are we doing today that looks like it's going to be really good for the future? And more importantly, what are we doing today that might not be what we want to do for the future?
That's all for this week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right here again at Circuit News TV.